Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine moments of really intense anticipation, maybe for a crucial meeting, yeah, or a reunion you've waited ages for, only to have the very ground beneath your feet just vanish. Your whole understanding flipped upside down. That's kind of the journey we're taking today. This deep dive looks at a really gripping personal story. We're using excerpts from ift14.pds and some notes that came with it. These notes, they reveal layers of hidden truth. So our mission is to get past the surface, to uncover what this story tells us about expectation, guilt, and the shocking reality that can hit when people face their past. So we start with this group of friends. They're on a mission, a really emotional one, heading to Mumbai. They're convinced, absolutely convinced they're on this solemn trip related to someone they think has died. The air is just thick with grief, with purpose.
Yeah, and what's immediately striking is how the narrative just throws us right into this high-stakes emotional world where every little detail, every interaction, it's all magnified by the characters' anxieties and these, like, rock-solid assumptions they have. Right from the get-go, we're not just observers. We're seeing how this strong, emotionally charged belief system is about to meet, well, a really shocking challenge.
Oh, it's definitely going to be challenged. You just mentioned their reality gets severely challenged.
Yeah.
So how does that tension, that anticipation, build up specifically during their journey to Mumbai, even before they get near the apartment?
It's fascinating, isn't it? The source material gives us such a vivid picture of how they're feeling inside. The narrator actually says, I am shitting in my pants. That kind of raw anxiety, it just pulls you right in. It's not just fear, it's visceral, a physical reaction to facing this huge unknown. That tells us their emotional stakes are already sky high. It's sort of preloading how they see everything that's about to happen. The narrator even admits, thank God I didn't take this journey alone. It would have been difficult to talk to all these people, and especially Ragini, which highlights just how heavy this shared emotional burden is.
Absolutely. And even the totally mundane stuff arriving at Mumbai airport becomes loaded with their anxiety. That struggle to get a taxi, for instance, it just shows their collective tension. Though we do see a surprising little shift. Avantika, she steps up, hails the cab. Yeah. Well, even Tia, the one described as the enfant terrible of the give-no-shit kid, she looks nervous as hell. It's like they're all descending together into this emotional pressure cooker.
And that raises a really critical question, I think. How often do our own anxieties, especially when we share them in a group, create this kind of tunnel vision? Their collective state of mind is so laser-focused on one specific tragic outcome. It's almost predetermining what they expect to find and how they'll read any new information. They aren't just looking for a person, you see. They're looking for a specific reaction from someone they believe is grieving. This pre-programmed expectation is a really crucial element that's already distorting their perception right from the start.
Precisely. And their objective is clear, even though they're not really talking about it. They hope to find Ragini at home. Specifically, they want her to meet Nivedika, who is Ridham's sister. The narrator's internal thoughts are heavy. They're thinking about Ragini's potential guilt, assuming she was closest to him and she had pushed him away. Everyone, they note, reacted very strongly to the news of him passing away. So that taxi ride, it's just this silent, tense crawl through Mumbai traffic, filled with unspoken questions and this dread about how they're going to break what they think is terrible news.
That silence in the taxi, filled with all these unspoken assumptions, these projections of guilt. It's incredibly potent. It's building towards what they expect will be this moment of shared grief, a revelation for Ragini. They have absolutely no idea. Their whole premise is basically quicksand. The sheer weight of their mission, which is based on this mistaken belief, it just colors every single interaction.
Right. And it's at this point, anxiety peaked. They finally arrive at Ragini's apartment. What's the first impression? Does it match what they expected? What are those first signs that something is well off?
It clashes immediately. The taxi drops them off. It's a modest-looking apartment building. But when they go inside, the interior is described as very boringly furnished, devoid of color. It apparently looks expensive, but there's just not much personal stuff around. The narrator was expecting, pink curtains, blue sofas, and aromatic candles. Instead, no flower vases, no photo frames, no nothing. This stark, unexpected blandness, it's the first subtle clue that something is really off. It creates this immediate dissonance with the image they had of Ragini.
Yeah, that's a weird detail for someone they thought had such a, personal connection. And then the maid's reaction, when they say, we are Ridham's friends. Her response is almost chillingly neutral. She just says, come in. No surprise, no emotion, nothing. This completely throws the narrator. They have this fleeting thought like, What if Ragini knows about Ritam? But they dismiss it really quickly. They're clinging to this earlier note from Ritam, dated 10 days before the blast, apparently, which said he hadn't had contact with Ragini in forever.
Oh.
This is such a crucial moment. The group and us listening, we're getting these subtle signals that their core assumption might be wrong, but the emotional momentum just keeps them barreling forward. They don't really process it. These little discrepancies, the decor, the maid's non-reaction, they're early signs that the group's assumptions, and maybe our own too, might be fundamentally flawed. And the clues keep piling up, getting more solid. The narrator spots a small photo frame, kind of tucked in a corner. It's a picture of a guy, smart, wheatish complexion, decent build, probably in his mid-20s. And the group's immediate thought, it's this silent, shared panic. Oh, shit, did she get married? That will be such an anticlimax. They're like nudging each other, already dealing with a totally different kind of disappointment than the one they braced for. Their whole prep for tragedy is now rerouting to unexpected romance.
It's a brilliant setup for cognitive dissonance, really. They're trying to square the grief they expected with the possibility that Ragini has moved on. But they're completely missing the more fundamental contradiction that's staring them right in the face. Their minds are desperately trying to fit this new information into their existing framework, but the framework itself is already broken. It just shows how powerful our existing beliefs can be, how they filter everything, often making us overlook the obvious.
And then, boom, the tension just explodes. Just as Amantique is looking at the photo, they hear the door creaking open. The group stands up. Pupils dilated, hearts hammering. Hit the roof, it says. Tia, who just muttered, oh, finishes her thought out loud. Fuck. When she sees who it is, the big reveal is genuinely stunning. The person walking out is the exact same guy from the photo frame. The group is just dumbfounded, in severe shock-induced trauma. The narrator's internal monologue perfectly captures the confusion. Ragini, wasn't she supposed to be a girl? Then the realization hits. The person standing in front of us right now is the nice-looking guy from the photo. Darn, she got married. If this is Ragini's husband, this simply can't be.
Right. And it's exactly then, while they're still reeling from just seeing him, that the ultimate twist lands. The person speaks, just says, hey, and then introduces himself. I am Ritam, shaking the narrator's hand, which was probably just hanging out there in shock. For us, listening to this, it just completely reframes everything we thought we knew, just like it does for the characters in that room. Their whole quest, the guilt they projected, the grief they carried, poof, gone. Upended in just 3 words. It's a profound illustration of how our expectations can build an entire reality that has no basis in truth, and how dramatically that reality can just collapse.
Wow, yeah, truly a mind-bending moment, a complete reorientation for everyone involved. And with Ritam standing there, very much alive, these private notes we have from the source material, they suddenly take on this entirely new, really complex meaning. Let's dive into Ritam's determination first. This note from August 28, 2011, he writes, I have realized that I am nothing without her. She gives me meaning. Life's worthless without her, and I want my life back. I mean, this is way more than just saying, I love you, isn't it? It sounds like total existential dependence.
Absolutely. What's immediately clear is Ritam's incredibly deep attachment. It feels like it's bordering on, well, obsession. He says he's been following some previous note for too long, but now he's going against it. His resolve is intense. Some things need to go my way. She needs to know what I feel for her. And there's a possessive tone there that's frankly hard to ignore. Ragini will have to listen this time. I will not let her be stupid anymore. He goes on, I can't let my love die like this, and admits he's been a coward for too long. This note, remember, found after the shock of finding him alive, it paints this picture of Ritam as incredibly determined, yeah, but maybe also dangerously self-focused in his pursuit. The insight here, I think, is how easily that deep emotional attachment can twist into a feeling of entitlement, maybe even control, especially when someone's whole sense of self seems defined by another person.
It really makes you wonder what stupidity he thinks Ragini is guilty of, and what was in that previous note he felt bound by. And the contrast, wow, it couldn't be sharper when we look at Ragini's letter. This is just raw, guilt-ridden stuff, a completely different viewpoint.
Oh, completely. Ragini's letter it's this profound expression of self-punishment and a desperate, desperate plea for space. It reveals this deep personal struggle she's going through and this desire to protect others from her pain, even if that means pushing them away forcefully. She admits, point blank, a lot of mistakes, specifically dragging the recipient, presumably Ritam, to Bangalore because she says, I wanted to be with Nigel and promptly forgot all about you. Her self-condemnation is just stark. I have failed you and I am sorry. There is not much love left in my heart, but if there was, I would have given it all to you.
That's incredibly raw. Sounds like she's carrying just an immense weight of guilt.
She absolutely is. And the most striking part for me is her desperate request. Save me. Please go away and never come back. It's my last wish from you. Now, this isn't framed like simple rejection. It's positioned as a plea to spare him trauma and to relieve her of the constant reminder of her mistakes. The note explicitly says she's been shifted to rehabilitation, and his presence for her is a constant reminder of my mistakes in life, and I can't take any more of it. This is a crucial insight, I think. For some people, healing requires absolute separation from the sources of their pain. Even if that source believed they're offering love or support, it's about her needs in that moment.
So, okay, on one side, you've got Reedham's intense resolve. He needs Ragini to give him meaning, declaring she will be mine. And on the other side, Ragini's desperate plea for distance, seeing his presence as a constant reminder of her mistakes, needing him to please go away and never come back, especially while she's in rehab. What does this really stark contrast tell us about how different people process pain and try to heal, even within the same relationship?
Well, it's a really powerful illustration of the chasm that can just open up when one person's intense need for connection becomes a crushing burden on someone else's journey towards, self-reconciliation. The insight here is how quickly genuine care, or what someone thinks is love, can warp into something suffocating if personal boundaries and individual healing processes aren't respected. Reedham's belief that he needs Ragini to get his life back completely ignores Ragini's desperate need for him to leave so she can maybe start rebuilding hers. It highlights a critical, sometimes painful truth. One person's pursuit of love can feel like another person's obstacle to healing, especially when their fundamental needs, connection versus separation, are just diametrically opposed. It reveals the often destructive power of unacknowledged personal pain.
You're right, it is a profound and painful irony. Reedham's alive, still consumed by this desire for her. Meanwhile, Ragini, in this vulnerable state of rehabilitation, she's seeking absolute separation from him just to begin healing. It feels like an almost unbridgeable gap of misunderstanding and conflicting needs, where both of them probably believe they're acting out of some urgent, deeply personal necessity.
And this raises an important question for all of us, really. In these complex human relationships, how do we tell the difference between genuine care that respects autonomy and a potentially destructive attachment? It really challenges us to think about how our intentions, no matter how sincere we think they are, can have unforeseen and maybe deeply damaging impacts on someone else's well-being, especially when they're grappling with huge personal pain and guilt.
Wow, what an incredible journey into these sources. From that initial anticipation, the character's firm belief Reedham was gone, through that shocking reveal of him standing right there, alive, and finally landing on these conflicting personal truths laid bare in their private notes. This deep dive has really gone beyond just the plot, hasn't it? Uncovering layers of misunderstanding, guilt, these intense, often opposing emotional forces. It gives us and you listening a much more informed perspective than the initial story ever could.
Exactly. And it leaves us with a really provocative thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Consider Reedham's intense resolve. He literally says, I wish, and I will see her someday, and she will be mine. I will make it happen. Contrast that with Ragini's urgent plea from rehabilitation, please go away and never come back. So what ethical and emotional challenges really jump out when one person's unwavering pursuit of love feels like the other person's burden against healing? And what does making it happen truly mean in such a delicate, complex human situation, especially when one person's deepest desire might actually be the biggest obstacle to the other's recovery? Something to think about.